Greetings, this is Amy Wentley with Chai Knuckles Knitting. Thank you for being here. This video today is going to cover two-color stranded knitting, and that's where we work with two different colors in one round, and we're going to use two hands. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. And I'm going to use this on a project I'm working on now, which is a Christmas stocking, and the pattern is by Annie's Woolens, and it's actually a stocking for a dog, but you can customize it for anybody in your life. And so a lot of what makes holiday knitting and Christmas knitting in particular festive is a lot of color work. And so this is a especially good project to practice doing two-color stranded knitting. So again, thank you for being here, and on with the video. This is the beginning of the stocking. Now in this case, this is for demonstration purposes. So in this case, I did not make the knitted hem with these stitches. The previous video to this one shows you how to do a knitted hem. So I'm going to show you now how to work with two colors working across a whole round. And what I'm going to do for this demonstration is we are going to follow this pattern right here, where we knit two in one color, knit two in another color, knit two in one color, knit two in another color. Okay. So what you'll do is you're going to have your background color, and you're going to have what's called your dominant color. Okay. So the background color is the color that kind of lays to the back. It's the foundation of everything that's going on. The dominant color is the one that you want to have pop from the background. So in this case, again, the red would be the background color, and the green here would be the color that I want to pop. So the red will be my background color, and the green will be my dominant or my pop color. Okay. So to get started, you want to have your background color off to your right. You are going to hold the background color in your right hand. Your pop color, in this case, or your dominant color, so in this case it's this orangey variegated yarn, that's going to be in your left hand. Okay. We're going to start out by knitting two in the background color. So, oops, let's do this. I actually don't have this on the first stitch, so here we go. Okay, I'm going to knit two with the background color, and I'm going to use my right hand. So I'm going to pick up the yarn in my right hand. If you are a thrower, an American knitter, an English knitter, and you hold the yarn in your right hand, just do it however it's comfortable with you, however you're used to doing it. If you're a continental knitter, you'll want to pick this up, possibly wrap it around your pinky finger, hold your yarn in your right hand, ready to be used. Okay. You insert to knit, wrap with your right hand, and that's going to be behind and over. Okay. So that's one. So insert under and over like that. So that's two stitches knit with my right hand. You're then going to want to add the color for your left hand. So to do that, you want to insert your needle as if to knit, and then you want to take the end of your yarn, and you want to leave a nice tail because you're going to have to weave this in later. So lay that over the tip of your needle and pull that through. And that's your first stitch knit. Now get that yarn into your left hand. If you're a continental knitter, hold it however you're comfortable holding the yarn in your left hand. If you are not, then just pick up your yarn. If you want to, you can wrap it in around your pinky finger. You can put it under your index finger if you'd like to, like this. However you can get a hold of it, and you want to knit that next stitch. So you're going to insert to knit, and you're going to grab that yarn off your index finger. So I'm picking it off my index finger and pulling it through the loop, and that's to knit in my dominant color. Okay. Now just a word too, lots of times a pattern will say one is your main color, one is your contrasting color. Sometimes it's true that the main color is your background color and the contrasting color is your dominant color, but that's not always the case. So pay attention to the pattern and think about your intentions and think about which color is in the background. So in this case, it's the white. And think about what color you want to stand out. That'll be in your left hand, and in this case, it's the orange. So we're going to go ahead now and pick up our right hand yarn and knit 2. So 1, 2. And then it's going to be time to work with the yarn in our left hand. If you need to pick it up like this, that's fine. Just insert your needle, and then you're going to want to take the yarn over your needle like this and then pull it through. Don't come under to do that. Make sure that your yarn is going over the needle and you pull it through. And then insert again and over your needle and pull it through. Now one thing I want to show you is that your yarn is going to start to strand in the back. This is why it's called stranded knitting. You'll see here that this background yarn that I'm using, the white, I knit 2 stitches and then the white strands in the back, okay, while I knit the 2 orange. Then when I go to knit the 2 whites, the orange is stranding in back and it's going to come into play again here. The one thing you want to be careful about is you don't want to pull too tight. You don't want the strands in the back to be very tight. So watch this, for instance. If I had pulled the orange yarn really tight when I did the first stitch and this second stitch here, it would pucker, it would pull these 2 white stitches too close to one another and start to pull in and pucker everything. You don't want that to happen. You want these strands to actually be a little bit loose in the back so that, see, I can actually stretch my knitting and the strands go along with it. They're not pulling in, okay? So while you're working, let's go ahead and do 2 with the white color in our right hand again, okay? Now this is going to be stranding across these 2 stitches when I go to make the new stitch. And so the first thing I always do when I start a new color like this is I will spread out my stitches on my right hand needle so that they're spaced nicely. I don't want to have them scrunched up like this. So I actually spread them out on my needle so that they're spaced nicely. I take my yarn and I strand it across those 2 stitches and go to knit the next stitch. And I make sure when I knit that stitch that I do not pull this yarn tight. Okay, I don't want to do this, for instance. Okay, that's too tight and it pulled everything in. I want to respect the spacing that I laid out here, and I want to leave this a little loose. Now that being said, I don't want it really loose. Okay, I just want it to lay comfortably back there and have it not be tight. So be careful about not pulling your yarn too tight. So when I go to do the second stitch, I just need to be aware not to really yank and pull my knitting tight. Now I'm going to try the 2 stitches with my left hand here. So I'm going to, when I insert and hold the yarn in my left hand, I will actually kind of wave the right hand needle under the yarn so that it drapes over the top here from the left. So I'll go like this along my finger to grab it, and I pull it through the loop. Now notice I stranded this yarn in the back too, and this is nice and loose. There's nothing wrong with checking especially when you're new at it, to make sure that you have not pulled it too tightly. Okay, so then again, I'm going to do the background color, 2 stitches, and notice how I spread out my stitches first so this strands nicely. And then again, before I start the next color, I'm going to strand out my stitches again so that they're separated nicely. And I'm going to insert, scrape on my finger and pull through, scrape on my finger and pull through. So that's how you do 2 color stranded knitting. Now generally, when we do 2 colors in a row, we try to, if we have any spans where there are stitches more than four stitches, we're going to need to actually trap the strand in the back because it's so long if it strands more than 4 stitches. And that is actually going to be in another video, and that's going to be in a week or so. And I will show you 2 different methods for trapping your yarn in the back when you do 2 color stranded knitting. So enjoy this, play around with the colors, play around with using your hands. Occasionally people will actually just drop their yarns in the back and pick them up as needed. If that's more comfortable for you, that's fine. That's a way to do it. There are also other methods for doing 2 color stranded knitting. You can hold both yarns in one hand. You can hold both yarns in the other hand. You can actually use a Norwegian knitting ring that holds the yarns for you. Those methods are all out there, and I may get to them at some point, but we're starting out today just with the 2-handed method. So please come back and see me again. See you soon. Bye-bye.